2, approval of minutes from January 8th. I want to say the date, March 8th, 2013. We're going to approve the minutes from January 8th, 2013. Do I have a motion to approve minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Public comment. Do you have anyone from the public who would like to comment this morning? Mr. Phillips, can you stand over there?
Morning.
Mr. You'll start the timer. Good morning.
All right, I just have two comments. One, from the last meeting, Mr. Banks mentioned to us that in November we would be discussing this particular junction of this meeting. And so I asked that the minutes be expanded to reflect the roll call vote from the November meeting. And that's one of the first things I'm asking, that those minutes be expanded, because the reflection of the minutes is not the actual truth of the roll call. You can't approve minutes when the actual roll call did not reflect the minutes that you recorded and approved.
I don't know this question.
I don't know what is the question. Okay,
No,
you can just say
it's
your
not-
comments.
No, it's comment. I'm saying that.
Okay.
You all approved minutes of a roll call that was not the actual roll call, and those are minutes to reflect that what you're approving did not actually happen. So the minutes need to reflect the actual roll call if it's going to be the actual roll call, and the minutes need to be amended and expanded to reflect the roll call. So that's the first thing that I would recommend the board would look at and consider. If not, you're going to approve minutes that are not actual. Correct?
This is public comment. I'm not responding to you.
But I'm asking the board, how can you approve minutes that don't reflect the actual minutes? You don't have to respond to public. So if I ask a question, you're not obligated to answer the question?
I'm confused, so I'm going to
You're
make note
confused
of
about what?
the question. I'm not sure.
The
what
question is the roll call from November.
For the September minutes,
No, sir.
November.
November,
you
the
got
ayes.
the January minutes for November.
No, sir. Mr. Banks had made a comment that this meeting was where that particular approval of minutes could be discussed.
Well, what do you want to discuss? Because in the minutes, discuss it.
The roll call.
What about the roll call?
It
Roll
doesn't.
call where they were accepted.
Yeah, well, they already accepted the roll call of the, you and Mr. Bourgoin's roll call response. And so the minutes don't reflect that. That's the first thing that I'm here to talk about.
Oh, okay, I understand. Continue.
Okay.
I understand what you said. I'll respond to the board when you finish.
Okay. The minutes doesn't reflect that. And the board itself approved minutes that does not reflect the actual roll call. So, Mr. Banks.
When you finish commenting, I'll respond to the board, not to you.
Okay, and the second thing that I have a question concerning is Mr. Banks in an email corresponded that he was doing research of why my organization has not been added to the board's website. And so I need to hear his explanation before the agenda item comes up, because I can't discuss anything after this particular period of time. So I need to know exactly what I'm looking at, what is he going to present, so that I can see exactly what information he's presenting to the board prior to the board looking into it as well. Because I have no way of knowing. He hasn't sent me any information, what he's gathered, of why he had to do research for something as simple as adding a trade association when there's already a trade association already on the board's website. Those are my two comments.
Thank you. Anyone else want to make a comment?
I thought he said he's going to respond.
To the board. He's going to respond to the board. That's what he said.
Okay, so how am I supposed to know exactly what he sends me an email. So I'm just trying to figure out how is the system going to
He
work.
sent you an email?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
And corresponding to he was doing research for the board concerning my trade
Well,
association.
it is on the agenda,
But
Freddie.
it's down at the bottom, so I'm just
Right.
trying to figure out.
So if there's anything you want to say, I think you still have some time on why the board should add it, or, you know, whatever you want to say, go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't have to ask why the board should add it.
Okay.
When it's already trade associations out there.
Well, it's on the agenda, so if you wanted to make any comment on it, we're welcome to hear it, but if not, we'll discuss it when it comes up on the agenda.
Okay. So I don't have any other comments to make because I don't know what he's going to discuss and what he's going to present to the board. So he didn't respond to me with information as to what research will be needed for a very simple thing and what I requested.
Okay, well, when we make the motion, we'll have a motion.
Okay.
Thank you. Molly, did you want to say anything? Or Robert?
You know?
No, you go ahead, Robert, you said that.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
want to? You said, who's up? Now we have Robert Barnes coming in.
Everything I'm going to discuss will be pertaining to the financials and the approval thereof, which I believe is item, I don't know,
2 under new
2.
business.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Since I know I'm not going to get a response, I'm going to bring out the point that I'm not sure who all is reviewing the legal invoices of this particular institution or this particular agency. But I can only state that when I made public records request for the invoices, most notably Alabama's invoice of December of 2012, this is what I got. It's an 11-page document. I realize the board has alleged that I'm an incompetent CPA, but I would submit to you that if you put this document in front of any CPA, they're not going to have a clue as to know how much to write the check for. No clue. So I'm at a loss as to how this agency paid this document. It's right here for any board member or anyone else who wants to examine it. That's what I got when I made the public records request. It's 11 pages. There's no summation whatsoever. And anybody here that's sitting at this table who can figure out how much the check, I'm at a loss for how Ms. Edmonds could have known how much to write the check for, because I sure can. So that's what I got in response to the public records request. Also pertaining to the legal invoices, Ms. Timecamp, I think if you go back and look at the film, you were very emphatic with board member Greg Bordelon, who's not here today, that Mr. Bankston could not even answer questions of any kind until that contract got signed. That being the case, I mean, it was very emphatic. Got to make this thing official. Contract's got to be signed. That being the case, I'm somewhat at a loss, which is why I'm going to make other public records requests. Come to find, this is in the financials. It's unquestionably a line item expense in the financials that are legal, the legal expenses. Not only do we find out Mr. Bankston had been put to work on March the 6th, some 64 days prior to that contract being approved, so we even have the payment of his check, which you signed, Ms. Timecamp, dated April 10th, 2012. Here's 8 copies. I was anticipating more board members being here. But there's copies for anyone to review. So, for there to, be the statement that, well, we have to approve this, it's a little bit amazing that back after the fact and find out somebody approved it long before the board did. It's got your signature on the check. So, I assume you either put it on a show that day or you need it. He'd long since been put to work for the board. And it would also behoove the question of why this wasn't presented at the March LALB meeting. Wait over 60 days, then approve the contract, saying that he can now go to work, when in reality he'd been going to work some 70 days prior to. Now every invoice I've gotten has been redacted. I have contacted the AG's office, and I've made another request for unredacted. So be curious to see just what all he was put to work for. Now, I think, how much time do I have? Do I have a whole minute? 1 minute? I'll save some of the other stuff for my own edification. That will do it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Burns.
You're quite welcome.
Mr. Henderson?
All right, we're going to move on now to old business. Number 1, approval of tested applicants. We're going to take these separately. Number 1.
We have Daniel Gwynn. I have a fax copy of his bond because his company spelled his last name wrong. So the bonding company's in the process of reissuing that, but he is tested and everything is in order in his file.
You want Daniel Green? You approve? Second.
Yes, it will be pending receipt of the bond.
I have a first and a second to approve Daniel Gwynn pending receipt of the actual bond. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 2, Justin.
Justin Ferrier, 100% complete and tested.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 3.
Samuel Ackerman, everything is complete in his file. We're pending the exam.
Motion to approve upon passing exam.
I have a first and a second.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Will you stop with the camera in my face? Just if you're going to take the meeting, do it.
Well, I can't hear, so I'm trying to get where I can hear.
Well, I'll be glad to speak up for you. All right, number 4.
We have Kevin Rimbert. He is, everything is in order. He is pending his exam.
So moved.
Um,
Any outcome,
Do you have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, can you stay on?
Oh, yeah, we'll just stick them all the way like this.
Okay. Number 2, approval of reciprocal auctioneer.
I'm sorry, we have one more.
Oh,
Jason. Sorry.
Checking the wrong.
Jason McLaughlin. He is, I received a fax application with yesterday. So he would be pending all original documentation and his exam. He just graduated from auction school, so he's a little legal.
So move to approve with all documentation as comes in on the
And the exam.
Do you have a second?
So moved.
All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 2.
For our reciprocal auctioneers, all 3 applications are 100% complete. So you can vote for them separately or all together as one.
We have all the paperwork and everything.
Yes,
Nothing's
ma'am.
pending.
Nothing's pending on any of the reciprocals.
Do you have a motion?
Motion to approve all 3 reciprocal auctioneers.
Do you have a second?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, number 3, approval of reinstated auction business applicants.
We have Walnut Grove Auction Realty. They were licensed with us previously, July 2006 through December 2008. Everything is in order on their application.
So moved.
Have a motion, do you have a second?
Second, to have some discussion.
All right. First and a second, so we're open for discussion.
What was the reason why that they're auctioning, any reason why they're
You know, I don't know. That's not something that's information that's asked for on our application, so I honestly don't know.
They haven't had any financial problems or anything in the past?
Not that I'm aware of. So. They are from out of state, so sometimes, sometimes they just aren't having an auction, so they drop their license and then they have the opportunity to auction again. So they're going to
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 4, approval of reinstated auctioneer applicant.
Yes, we have Andrew Parenti. He was last licensed with us through 2003. His application is missing his bond, which has been ordered. I've spoken to his bonding company, and he needs to get his exam.
Do I have a motion pending? second?
Second, upon, I guess that motion would be upon the bond.
Right.
The bond and the
And
exam.
the exam.
I'll second that.
Pending that. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Why don't we do the auction business now, tax hours?
Okay, so that's the one we added to the.
That's the one we added to the agenda. Again, I've got, now originals of everything. I have just a fax copy of their bond, which, should be arriving at my office later today or tomorrow at the latest. Stacks Bowers, they're, coin auctioneers. I was told they once sold a coin for $10 million. I told them, I know that, I was the purchaser. They were very silent on the other end. But, they are based out of, they have offices in New York and in, California. And their two auctioneers were licensed at our last meeting.
So they just need that.
The auction business, and they have an auction here in New Orleans in May.
Okay, so we're not gonna approve it for all the people, we're gonna approve it based on.
Pending the bond, because I have everything else. And I have a fax copy of the bond.
Okay.
The original will be arriving today or tomorrow.
Motion to approve the original bond.
Do I have a second?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Next, we're gonna go to number 5. Apprentice applicants. We need to discuss before we get into this, because we had this from last meeting, the guidelines as to how long the auctioneer must be licensed before becoming a supervisor of an apprentice. What?
Right now,
Look at
we
the
had
statutes.
discussed it, and I thought it was part of the regulations, but it is not. One time, we had discussed putting in, at least a year, basically, active service by the, person who was the supervisor. And, right now, there are no guidelines with regard to the supervisor, with regard to time, competency, etc. They do have to be in Louisiana, so that is one thing that we do require.
But we had talked about we just didn't.
We never got around to actually approving it, I guess. I thought we have, but it's definitely not. It's not on the official records.
It's not anything that has been discussed since I've been in this position.
Right, no,
But
it would have been a long time ago, yeah.
Five auctioneers, not just well-established auctioneers. It's anywhere, they're saying you work 3 to 5 years before somebody can train them. They feel that somebody out of auction school 1 year or less, 2 years or less, that it's don't feel like they need to be apprentices, no one is not established, unless they follow a long-standing auction, that would be something to come around with why. Their opinion is they just don't know enough about the business to find something.
Can hear.
I asked a question about the apprenticeship guidelines and training. That, do we have anything implemented? That they have
Yes,
to-
we do have implementation with regard to what we're supposed to do. I think you have a copy of that.
Yes, sir.
Who's enforcing that? That's getting done, I guess, is the other thing. Is that our duty as a board?
I can answer a little bit to the fact that, there are rules and regulations that are signed and it each apprentice, and it tells them what things they need to do. When their license is approved, they're sent, special tracking sheets where they have to, keep track of, each auction that they work, whether it be, clerking, setup, collecting the money, bid calling, whatever. There's guidelines in here as to how many auctions they need to, participate in. Their supervisor is signing off on each task throughout the year. At the end of the year, when the person applies to become an auctioneer, both the apprentice and the auctioneer sign a sheet stating that they attest to the fact that all of those items were indeed completed. That's the degree
So many
at this point in time.
And Trey, you couldn't hear when Jim was speaking. Jim, Freddie just wanted to know what you said.
Yeah, I couldn't hear.
He just said that, you want to tell him that you spoke to
The auctioneers in my district, Freddie, most of them wanted 5 years, some of them wanted 3, because of getting to be established and having routine sales on a regular basis to get some experience in the auction business prior to trying to teach somebody as an apprentice. That was their opinion. I'm just passing along what they do.
So as of now, we don't have any requirements, I just want to like go over that. As of
Right.
now, we
For
don't
the-
have
for
any
the
requirements.
supervisor.
Once you
Though
get your
you're not
license, then
licensed,
the
right.
next meeting you can come apply for an apprentice. So that's what came up when we were, doing that at the last meeting, someone who, that just happened with an auctioneer. And it was put on for this meeting that we could discuss it and actually find out the exact guidelines and where we want to go from here. All right, so Jim, your recommendation?
First off, I'm a pretty big fan of auctioneer schools. I would like to consider this apprentice program. I mean, there could be some people that take this very serious and work very hard every year and come out to be very good auctioneers. But I can tell you, being put through the paces of a licensed school is something that helped me tremendously in my auctioneer career. So it's something I'm a big fan of. Now, I don't think somebody right out of auctioneer school would be a good supervisor for an apprentice. We were told, as we came out of auctioneer school, for the first 2 years, go do free auctions. Don't charge anybody. Hone your skills. Learn the way the auctions work. So I feel like we do need a criteria for the supervision. We ought to be, and done some survey. I haven't surveyed the folks in my area, but I think this may be something that we put on next month's agenda to make a decision on after doing some more surveying of other auctioneers to see if it's 3 year, if it's 5 years on the supervisorship. But I truly believe it's something that experienced auctioneers ought to be handling these apprentices, not apprentices. Virtually 1 year working out of 1 year or so, having an apprentice on. So I think that's something to work on.
May I say something? I want to make a comment too, because what we may have are apprentices also, teaching apprentices. And we're sort of creating a sequence of events where people may not know really how to auction. And I think you're right that, the best of all possible worlds is, auction school, then actual practice to hone your skills, because you can't teach some things in school and you can't learn some things on the job. Having said that, we'd be glad if you will give us some guidance from your auctioneers and those who are not here, maybe do the same.
I would like to see you do a survey of maybe other licensing states and what they do on their apprenticeship program, so we don't reinvent the wheel, is one thing.
We could definitely do that. Yeah, we could do
and,
that. That may actually already been compiled by the NAA or
We're
another.
probably not the only board that's ever come across this, so
No.
we could look into that avenue, and I think we really need to poll our auctioneers to get their thoughts on this apprenticeship program.
What do we do about the one we got in?
We have one pending because we put it off to this meeting after we discussed it.
Right, it's from the last meeting.
We've kind of grandfathered or established a status quo from what I see on this, so we don't punish that guy by pinning
No.
this. Maybe we move forward with that, but then we need to,
I'm
at some point in time,
Well, in
I'm
this,
on begrudgingly make a recommendation.
A motion meeting?
I'm gonna make, somebody else will make the motion. We're in discussion.
Okay, so,
We kind of got ourselves boxed up in the corner by not having this already some type of policy procedure on the books. And we've already granted some of this last year. So I don't know how you can go back, you can't go back and undo. You got one on here, we just granted him one. So since then, he's left, the partnership is split. He's gone somewhere else, he's over his own deal, and he's got an apprentice. That's his apprentice. You can't tell him no, but we done granted him one. And this moment that we tabled from last month, who is that?
Number one. is
Melinda Rhodes.
Melinda Rhodes. It's actually her son, is Aaron Bruce.
can I make a suggestion at this point, if you would like? So, yes, you cannot change the rules at this late date. It's going to look into making prospective rules, and that's a process we have to go through. But if the board wants me to monitor a little closer than we normally do any apprenticeship, we can do so.
I think we only have like 3 active right now. Now, obviously, based on today's vote, that number could grow substantially. Just another piece that I want to throw out there as you guys are contemplating what to do. I think also to figure out how many apprentices you're going to allow someone to have at a particular time. Because I do know that I spoke with Belinda Rhodes, who would be the supervisor on number 1, and she has another person that she would like to apprentice under her as well.
I think you look at what other states are doing, but I really believe one apprentice at a time.
I thought we did. I think
It says that you can only have 1 supervisor. It does not say how many apprentices that supervisor can have.
Now, that I don't think that is a requirement for licensing, so that would be a situation where you make a determination that one-on-one, and the board can do that on it.
All right. Who are these other options?
Okay, well, we'll take those as we go down. We're gonna take these separately.
And I have
Because of that.
information and I have everyone's
Okay,
comments.
so on number 5, we're gonna go ahead, get some more information, put it on the agenda. Apprentice applicant guidelines.
Do that in the form of a motion?
So moved.
No. Yeah.
I have a first. I have a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so you put that on
Okay,
next.
I got it.
Okay, let's start, we're gonna take these one at a time. Number 6, approval of apprentice guidelines.
All right. We have Aaron Bruce. His supervisor is supposed to be Belinda Rhodes if approved. Belinda went to Texas Auction Academy and she graduated, or her license was issued here by this board in November of 2012.
All the paperwork, everything's in order.
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
We need a motion, second, we can discuss it, you only vote against it, I'll make the motion.
All right, discussion.
Under discussion, I'll look for our legal counsel, help me with this.
Okay.
If we're in now the opportunity where we're looking at changing these criteria, should we not receive any more apprenticeships until we get straightened out on what we want to do, because we're just fixing to open up 6 more boxes?
Well, I'm not sure all of them have this issue, first of all.
No, they don't.
Second of all is that, if they meet the requirements of petition to the board, we would have to have a reason to deny it, and they would have a right to come in and ask for a hearing and go through an appeal process if they so chose. So my recommendation would be, if they meet all the requirements, allow them to go forward with it. Again, we can monitor, we can do whatever the board wants to do as far as following it. But the changes have to be prospective. You cannot go back and change it all after the application's already been filed.
And keep in mind too, I'm sorry, after they complete their 1-year apprenticeship, if they want to apply as an auctioneer, they take the same examination that anyone who went to auction school takes. So if they don't pass it, then they don't
Yeah, I
become
mean,
an
this is
auctioneer.
not them coming.
And this is the only issue is with the new law.
This is by far the newest.
Okay. So, have a motion. Any other discussion on this? And a second for Belinda Rhodes and Aaron Bruce.
That was a motion to discuss.
That was a motion to approve.
No,
Motion to
approve.
Right, it was a
Okay,
motion to
sorry.
approve.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, number 2.
All right, we have Kermit Duhon. His supervisor is Raymond Dufour, and Mr. Dufour has been licensed with this board since 1981.
So moved. Second.
All the paperwork's in order.
Yes.
I have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 3. And
We
Taylor.
have Dan Taylor. His supervisor would be Brandon Dubois. Brandon went to the Missouri Auction School and has been licensed with this board since September of 2006.
Everything's in order.
So moved. So moved.
I have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 4.
We have Victoria Palmazano. be Terry Adams Luke. Terry went to North Baker School and has been licensed here since September 2009.
Everything's in order.
Everything is in order. And Terry owns a licensed auction business with this board as well as an auctioneer's license.
With the first and the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 5.
All right, we have Donald Plunk. His application is all in order. I have a fax of his bond. His bond is on its way to me. His supervisor is David Ashcraft. He went to Texas Auction Academy. And Mr. Ashcraft has been licensed with this board since January of 2012.
And a second?
It would be pending bond.
Second.
First, and a second. Discussion.
2012.
So we just made a year.
So this is one we're right in that zone we talked about.
He's always had one, he's departed that auction company where the one was under.
Yeah.
But he's been in the auction, arena for 30 years, clerking, ringing, all that. I mean, he knows auction business inside out.
Right, I have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, next.
We have Kelly Payne. Her supervisor would be Elton Albert. Mr. Albert went to the Missouri Auction School and has been licensed with this board since March of '95.
Everything's in order?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, number 7.
Excuse me, I couldn't hear Mr. Sims' comment. I raised my hand to try to get your attention to what he
I
said.
have my glasses on. What, you couldn't hear what comment?
The comment he made concerning whoever this guy was, all I heard was he's been doing a lot of whatever in the business.
He said he's been in the business for over,
David
3 years.
Ashcraft has worked in the auction business for over 30 years.
Listen, how long has he been licensed?
He's been licensed 2 years. He's
Under a year.
under a year.
Right.
Under a year.
January 2012, I believe you said it, Sandy.
Okay, so that's what I was just trying to get to
Okay,
this.
you got it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Okay. Number 7, approve auctioneer schools for 2013, no curriculum change reported.
Yes, these 2 schools missed the agenda for the last meeting, so they're kind of lagging behind. But they reported no curriculum changes and are asking that they be approved for this next
So
year.
moved to approve both schools.
The second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. New business. Number 1, amend dollar amount of professional services contract with Attorney Larry Bankston in light of recent litigation against the auction board. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to amend it so we can have Mr. Banking. Is there a dollar amount that recommendation $15,000? Dollar amount of $15,000 for professional services for contract with Mr. Larry.
Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, I need some signatures on this form. There are 3 copies. We'll have, we need actually just Larry and Tessa to sign. I'll just bring it Larry, yes, I'll sign it.
All right. Approval number 2. Oh, I need you to this, Cindy. Approval of financials.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Everyone has a copy. Anything you want
No, I don't really have anything to
report?
report.
Anyone have any questions?
Everything's within budgeted amounts.
So do I have a motion to approve the financials?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, number 3, attorney report, investigative report. I'm going to turn this over to Anna.
All right, as everyone's aware, we will have a hearing is scheduled immediately after the meeting, so please hang around. We have a number of investigations pending. They're not at the point that I can bring them to board and say anything. In one case, we've requested more information from the complainant, and some others have been filed, but they haven't even gotten filed with us yet. So the only thing we have that's really active is the one that's set for this afternoon. Be glad to answer any questions or if the board has any.
Okay. We're going to move on to number 4.
Can we pause for 1 second? My
Yes.
battery is about to die. Let me just change batteries real quick.
Okay, I've got to get my file out anyway, so it's perfect.
I'm sorry, it looked like it had plenty of charge.
We're just changing batteries.
You ready?
I'm ready, yes.
Okay. Barbara Bonnet had contacted Sandy. I think Sandy, she had some concern about the need for a second auction license. And I pulled the statute to see where we are. In case you are not aware, and I don't know if anybody here does a lot of automobile auctioning, the Used Motor Vehicle Commission has some rules in place with regard to auctions, with the understanding that, that particular place, that they have specifically exempted in their statute, and they refer to used motor vehicle dealer shall not include any of the following. Auctioneers or auction houses who are not engaged in the auction of used motor vehicles as the principal part of their business, including but not limited to the following auctions: estate auctions, bankruptcy auctions, farm equipment auctions, or governmental auctions. This means that those auctioneers or auction houses who are not in the regular business of selling vehicles are not considered dealers and therefore not required to get a license from them under their statute. However, if you are in the motor vehicle auction business, they do require you, when you apply to get a specific license, you have to get a motor vehicle license, plus there is a specific license for auctioneers, and it is an extra, I pulled the application, extra $400, and that includes public, wholesale, and salvage. So if you are selling, and the statute does not require it, but in the past it's been 5 vehicles per year. If you sell in excess of 5 vehicles per year by auction, then they require you to get an auction license. Technically, we just, right now, according to statute, if you just sell it with regard to estate auction, et cetera, not as a primary part of your business, then theoretically you do not need a license, a motor vehicle license at all. So,
What's bringing this up? Are they on Barbara about selling vehicles or something?
she's always,
Barbara has her license.
yeah, she has a motor vehicle license. She's had a motor vehicle license. I've got Sandy's problem. Motor vehicle license for a number of years. I don't know, you know, she's been required, as far as I know, to get this auction.
What are they doing not licensing auctions? I didn't think they could license an auction. That was my big with.
They license, if you are a motor vehicle auction, they do require you to get a motor vehicle.
Yeah, we require them to have another.
Right.
An auction.
Right. And this was presented to the board. It's been, again, some time ago, when this first went through, because originally we had a letter agreement with them, with regard to those auctioneers who are not in the business.
We did exemption, bankruptcy, and what else?
It's not limited to these. These are just specific items, specifically auctioneers to auction houses who are not engaged in the auction of used motor vehicles as the principal part of their business. And they list, but they say it's not limited to estate auctions, bankruptcy auctions, farm equipment auctions, or government auctions.
Estate auction?
Yes. So if you sell as part of an estate auction,
It doesn't matter.
Right.
So it's just.
What do you do about a contractor selling out of business?
that would probably not be the principal part of the business. If you were selling, if you were in the business on a regular basis.
I know there's contractors got several hundred vehicles. and they go with public auction, when they reduce or downsize or whatever, or go out of business.
That question has not been posed to motor vehicles or to this board to my knowledge. But if it's one event, it may not be, the second license may not be required. What they're looking at is, and what we normally do, if there's a question as to whether it's an auction issue or motor vehicle issues, we look at the issue itself. In some cases, if it's a regular motor vehicle auction, we get involved because it is an auction issue, not a motor vehicle. They don't regulate
that, that's what I'm, that's
of the
what I'm
auctioneer.
getting at.
Yeah, they don't regulate the auction portion of it. They regulate the motor vehicle portion of it.
That's why I'm curious, why are they issuing an auction business license when they ain't got no business issue, because they don't hear any grievances, and they don't tend to any problems, they dump it all on us. I think it needs to go to the legislature and get it out where we regulate all auction businesses in this state except livestock, like it's been.
Well, this was in place, we had members of the board who testified for the legislature when this was going.
I know the man from Monroe, Louisiana that pushed this damn thing through.
So, you know, if we wanted to go back in, we'd have to get a bill to actually take that out and get into a discussion again with motor vehicles.
Well, we just might need to do that. I mean, you know, they don't need to be issuing auction business license regardless if it's a damn auto industry or what. They don't need to be issuing a license.
Ms. Barnett asked me to make sure that you guys knew too that last year her license, her auction license through them was 200. This year it's 400. So when she adds up all of her licenses from them and from us, she feels like she's working just to pay her licenses.
Well, first off, I just question this whole thing is if Ms. Bonnet requests to put something on the agenda, why isn't she here instead of saying he's speaking on her behalf? Is there a reason?
There is.
All right.
There is. She has, yeah, I mean, her son's going off to boot camp today, so.
Postpone
I
it.
To be there to say goodbye.
Yeah, I think
Postpone
there's
it.
questions from this board that we would have in order to hear her side and what she really wants us to do. I think she needs to appear here in person. That's where I was going with that. I don't have a whole lot of heartburn with the situation, but I would like to know if you're going to have somebody speak on something. I'd like to see you kind of in person, eyeball to eyeball, so we could, if we had questions, we could speak to her about it directly. It's my opinion.
Any other discussion?
Ms. Steinkamp, Chairman, did Anna say,
Thank you.
I couldn't hear Anna, did she say that Ms. Barnett, the motor vehicle, gave her an auction's license as
I don't know.
a
what
dealer's
the-
license? I'm trying to,
I don't know. I mean,
because I couldn't hear. That's what I'm trying to get the clarification of what did they actually issue her? Because it sounds like it's
I don't
a
know.
dealer's license and not an auction's license.
The dealer's licenses for them do require a separate application, which is for the purpose of auctioning,
Correct.
and which is $400.
Okay. That's okay.
And I don't know if she got it. That's what the statute says.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's what I wanted to make sure I heard you correctly.
And I would like to ask either you or our legal counsel, would it be much heartburn to Ms. Burnett if we waited to our next meeting and had her here in person to discuss this at that point in time, so we can make sure that we covered all aspects of this issue?
I'm sure not, because she has already paid for it, right?
Yes.
I mean, so I'm sure it's fine.
Then I would make
But
a
at
motion
least
to
we have it
defer.
on this time, so we can go ahead and look into it, and any questions the board might have about it, we can look into it. And then you want to table it,
Yeah, I'd make a motion to defer till our next meeting with her being here in person to discuss this issue.
and while we look into it.
You know,
I got some more to add to that.
And our legal counsel look into it also. Make a second on that, and we can add it to
I
it.
have a motion and a second.
I want to add another deal too, if we can just add this motion or amendment.
You want to amend the
On the
motion?
chairman of the motor vehicle commission here to answer questions.
You want me to subpoena the
I
chairman?
don't want you to subpoena him, I want him to come on his own free will in the court.
Okay, we can ask.
Okay, we'll ask.
I mean, I got some pointed questions for him, I want some pointed answers. And if it leads to having the law redone, so be it. If we're gonna regulate the auctioneers in this state, we're gonna regulate them, everybody but the cattle boys. and as far as I'm concerned, if they want to issue an auction license, they can issue the license, but they're gonna start hearing the disciplinary hearing with it, instead of us getting it.
I don't think that needs to be in the motion, we're just asking if they'll come. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have
Madam
it.
Chairman, did I hear Mr. Sims state that the motor vehicles are issuing auction licenses? Is that what he just said?
That's what I said, Freddie. They are issuing auction license for auction, auto auctions,
Beyond just the
beyond
dealer.
this board.
Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I heard that correctly.
Right.
Okay. All right, so number 5, request from Mr. Phillips to have LAPA website listed as linked on LALB.org.
Move the discussion.
We'll have to have it. You want to make, okay, you can just discuss it, and then we'll make a motion.
And we need a motion second to discuss.
Is that it?
At a
If we be
request,
legal, and I wanna make sure we're legal on this, you need a motion second to
All right, I
discuss.
have a
I got it.
motion
Jim
and a
made the
second.
motion, Hal.
All right, we're open for discussion. We have a motion and a second. We're open. Okay, who's first?
at the request of the board, I was asked to review the request by Mr. Phillips concerning the LAPA website being added as a link. Right now, your website provides for 3 different organizations or governmental agencies. One is the National Auctioneers Association, one is the Louisiana Auctioneers Association, and the other one is the Louisiana Used Motor Vehicle Commission. Those are the only 3 links, and which simply gives you the ability to click on it and go to that particular link. The board is under no obligation whatsoever to add this association to the website. It is purely a discretionary action on the part of the board as to whether or not they want to add any or take the ones they have here off or add more, whatever. It's purely discretionary on the part of the board. There's no legal obligation whatsoever.
Is he citing the statute?
With that being said, after reading this letter, what is your recommendation on behalf of this board?
Wouldn't add it because there's no indication that I can see that this is a substantial organization with hundreds of members or even tens of members. So the only membership that I could able to glean from the information that I've seen is Mr. Phillips, Mr. Burns, and Mr. Miley. If there are more, I'm unaware.
So your recommendation?
Not to add it as a link.
So moved.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
No.
All in favor, say aye, not to add this to our website.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay.
So this is what I waited for when I asked the question of what was Mr. Bankston's research in reference to?
You've heard this discussion, right?
But he didn't cite any statutes of discretionary of this board.
Okay, so we now are going to.
She's back.
On the back, I need to just turn and flip the page. Okay. All right, let's go to number 6.
Madam Chair, I had 1 minute left on my time, which I would like to, well, on mine, on number 6, I'd like to.
All
I'm
in
going to turn this over there.
public comment.
Okay, Mr. Banks, and I'm going to tell you very simply, I spoke with the AG's office. They said you don't have grounds for going into executive session. I got it into the record whether you wanted me to or not, so do what you want. Now, I've said my piece.
We go into executive.
Very good. I think that's an excellent idea.
I have a second.
I think that's an excellent idea.
It's at her request, Mr. Burns.
Please stay seated. Okay. We were on number 6, Mindy's agreement. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion that we move to approve the agreement with.
Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, number 7. Discussion of Robert Burns, making calls in executive session. Do I have a motion to go into executive session for litigation?
before we make a motion, I'd just like to ask our attorney something. As on Mr. Burns, I know a lot of times when we go in executive session to discuss something like this, is this discussing the case or him? Do we have to have a 24-hour notice? I guess there's not
Well, this
questions.
is not on,
It's
not
on,
like
it's
that
on
in
pending,
24.
no.
this is pending,
Pending
and
litigation.
it
Pending
refers to
litigation.
Louisiana Revised Statute 4217A2, which is referred to as pending litigation.
Can I make that motion?
Have a second?
So moved.
Cindy, please.
Yes, Mr. Brewster.
Yes.
Mr. McMillan.
Yes.
Mr. Sims.
Yes.
Ms. Steinkamp.
Yes.
We're
Go back into executive session.
We're out of executive session.
Motion to adjourn.
Do you have a second?
I'm saying.
We are adjourned. All in favor?